Welcome to Bits of Java. Let's talk about a common array algorithm where we have to find all the matches for something. So in this case, we're going to make an algorithm that'll find all the positive values in a particular given list and then send back that list of just the positives and not have any negative numbers and not have any zeros. So with a list, it's actually pretty straightforward. You create your empty list. This is actually another way of writing the constructor. Technically, you don't need to write the data type a second time, but you'll see it this way on the AP exam, so I'll put that in there. So here we can loop through everything. I'm gonna, in this case, use a regular for loop. An enhanced one probably would work okay too, but I've got a regular one here. And starting from the beginning, go to the end. If I get the value at the index and it happens to be positive, it's bigger than 0, then I will add that particular number to my matches list. And anything that doesn't meet this condition just doesn't get added to the new list. And at the end, the return matches just send back the array list that contained only positive numbers. So this works out pretty well because array lists can change size. The issue is with an array, we don't know how many matches we're going to have. So it actually is really hard to create an array that's the appropriate size before we know how many actual matches there are. So here's a couple ways of doing it. I'll show you one way. So here I've got an array of nums, and I want to return an array that contains all the positive numbers. Well, in order to figure out how big to make this matches array, I first need to know, well, how many positive numbers are in this parameter. So I will loop through everything, and I'll do a standard count matches algorithm. If anything is positive, I'll add to the count. And once I know that, well, then I can go ahead and make my array that is the appropriate size. Now here's the thing. Now that my array is smaller potentially than the matches array is smaller potentially than the parameter array that has all the values, I need to also keep track of two different indices, because when I loop through this original array again, I need to go ahead and put the first match into the index 0 of the new array, but then the second match might not be at index 1, it could be index 2 or 3 or 4. So for instance, I'll give an example. If I have an array that has 1, 2, -5, and 4, when I find that my array will be a size of 3, I'll create a blank array, and the blank array has zeros in it. My match index is going to start off at 0, and my I will start at 0. And in this case, those two match up, and I'll go ahead and place a 1 there. So my I is 0, my match index is 0. And then I'll move both to 1 because I did find a match, so match index goes up. And now this one matches, it's a positive number, so I will place a 2 at this location, so my match index goes up, and then my I goes up. But when I get to here, I don't have a match, so my match index doesn't change. This loop continues, I goes to 3. So now my I's at 3, but I still only want to go ahead and put this number at index 2. So 3, the value at 3 in the original array goes to the index 2 in the match array. And then I'll go ahead and return the matches. Another way of doing this would be if I make an array list that contains all the matches, and then I don't have to worry about having the different indices at different locations. If I make an array list and just add all the matches to the list, then I can make my array be the same size as my array list, and then loop through the, this should be nums.length here. This should be matches.length. So I'll loop through this new array, and then I'll put whatever the value is at I for the matches. It's going to get the value of the matches list. So for instance, if I do the same example, let me grab those two right here. So this time I don't have indices. This time I have the original, this is the original array, and then I've got a list that contains 1, 2, and 4. So this is the list of matches. And then this will start off with 0, 0, 0. This is the new array of matches. So now when I'm doing this second for loop, all of these match up perfectly because I've got the same number of items in the list as I do in the new array. So I don't need to have two indices. It'll just be, whatever is at this I here is the same over here. So 1 goes here, 2 goes there, 4 goes there. Don't have to worry about skipping any negatives in this case. So finding all the matches, a little more complicated with an array due to the fact that arrays have a fixed size.